First world problems. On the weekend, I had to go to Brisbane for a course, and on the way, I stopped for fuel. While I stood at the Bowser, I looked at my watch and realised I was running late. Oh brother, first world problem, I chuckled to myself. But as I did, it occurred to me that the station operator had not yet switched on my Bowser. Now I usually click the nozzle a few times just to raise an alert at the front desk, roughly translated as, "There's somebody at the Bowser, and it's me." But moments later, nothing. No pump, no fuel. Before long, there were three of us clicking our nozzles, standing impatiently by our cars. I was running later and later by the second, and as a result wasn't going to make it for the pre-course coffee or the cake. Super first world problem. I wonder how many people just like me in less fortunate countries around the world deal with such devastating disasters. How do they deal with life without coffee? Why on earth should anyone have to wait for more than 2 minutes to get their cars filled with fuel? I found out later that the station was temporarily short-staffed, leaving the lone operator juggling the hot food servery, the supermarket, the ice supply and the Bowser service all by themselves. The poor person was being run off their feet, and here I was moaning about coffee and cake. That morning I was egg-faced with a first world problem. Where had my empathy gone to? Was it running late too? How much better off would we be if eggheads like me took a little more time being appreciative of life rather than spending time furiously clicking nozzles? I have a car, it's air conditioned, I can afford to put petrol in it, and I can go to Brisbane in comfort without walking. Not too much different from anyone else living on the beautiful Gold Coast, is it really? These facts by themselves make me a pretty wealthy customer when compared to some third world nations. In some places, people can't even afford bicycles, let alone a motor vehicle. That morning, I had begun my journey by choosing to see my first world problem over the well-being of someone who was just doing their best to do their job. Eventually, after filling my tank, I went and paid, smiled and thanked the attendant for their service, and then I left, being careful not to let them see the thought bubbles over my head that were exposing my real thoughts. So, from the lack of coffee and cake and a silent petrol Bowser, let me end this week's Chappy Chatbox with being reminded of this brilliant quote from Atticus Finch from that book, To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. He said, "If you can learn a simple trick, Scout, you'll get along a lot better with all kinds of folks. You never really understand a person until you consider things from his point of view, until you climb inside of his skin and walk around in it." See you next time.